very much, when you pick up a camera, particularly with Lomography, you're not quite sure what you're going to get. You think you're going to get a certain thing, but Lomography cameras and the film frame things and take light in a very different way to a regular digital camera, which I think you get pretty much what you see as a reality. And I think often with music, you think the reality is, I'm going to play these chords, I'm going to play this sequence, I'm going to play these notes, and this is what's going to happen. And very often, that doesn't happen at all. You get carried on a sort of strange journey and taken into another reality altogether, which you didn't even bargain for in the first place. I think, growing up, part of the idea of getting an album was because you'd see this image on the front. I remember getting this T-Rex record, and all it was an outline, really, of Mark Bolan stood in front of a giant stack of amplifiers. But it said to me that there's this thing that's going to happen in the record that's going to sort of just blow everything away, and that's exactly what happened as well. And I think a lot of the artists that I've liked have paid particular interest to the sleeve and what's going to be inside the sleeve, and it's almost like an entry point into the world of the record. I can't remember sort of chancing it where an image has got me, and I thought the record would be therefore something great inside, but it's worked pretty much the other way around all the time. Then think of an idea for a movie sequence or a story, and you think that would be great as a little film thing. And already the gears is kind of working, and you get into the idea of what kind of music would therefore be appropriate for that. You might not get round to making the film because the music seems to be giving you all the information anyway, so you carry on with that. I'm thinking of particularly of a song from the last album, Nowhere to Run, which is called In Other Worlds, which started off as a movie sequence about running and escape and going through different countries and different destinations. And I ended up just making the music and then making a film later, which was completely different to that. I can remember, for example, being at school and the art teacher saying, okay, this is how composition works. This is how the eye travels around a painting. This is why this painting works. And then being in a script writing class where they had a still from Casablanca, and they said, this is how the frame works. This is where the eye travels. And so I started to sort of make comparisons between the two and sort of, how visual art therefore works. And that's taught, I didn't sort of think of that, but it's sort of stood me in good stead in terms of how I would want to frame a shot or just look through the camera and see it in a certain way, knowing that there was a compositional format, like a classical format, an abstract format, and all these different kind of things. So very much I think teaching's sort of coming down the line all the time, really. I think you have your own set of inspirations, and then the rest of it is what you pick up and sort of plants itself onto your brain. I was thinking about the record that's out at the moment called Nowhere to Run, and it's filled with sort of stories that are impacted by photography in places that I visited across America. One such place was New Orleans, which inspired me to write a whole sort of story, cinema style. I was in New Orleans, came out the hotel, and someone said to me, you realize that 4 people got shot here last night, right where you're standing, which I found quite shocking. And I also found it I guess to remove myself from it, I turned it into a piece of cinema and imagined being one of those people on the run from a different place and ending up in New Orleans. And the whole story sort of got created around that. I think the song itself, therefore, really lends itself to that idea of visual storytelling and image evoking, and you can kind of like smell the place as you listen to it. It's a great part of making the record. It's the fun part of making the record. You can direct people, I guess, into what might be going on in the record, what what image can evoke what is happening in the record, or deceive even, and take you to a whole other place, so that when you listen to the record, it sets up a sort of expectation that is thwarted, and therefore then that's kind of evocative in itself. I remember doing sort of projects at college and just walking around with a camera and taking a set of photographs, and then sort of starting to hear something around the actual, it's almost like to give the stillness life that's already there, that has been stilled, if you like, or made still in a single image, because there's other things obviously going around it, and maybe they evoke something as well, like a memory, or maybe you allow yourself the luxury of actually creating the environment around the photograph itself through music that you make up with your mind, And I think very much the world sort of opened itself to the idea that you can have a soundtrack to anything.